2 months after my facial reconstruction surgery following a car accident, my husband Jack Young got together with my well-mannered sister Emily. When our parents found out, not only did they not blame them, but they actually persuaded me to step aside voluntarily. Even my own daughter showed nothing but disgust towards me. I don't want this ugly freak as my mom. I want Aunt Emily to be my mom, Lily said coldly. I calmly agreed and chose to leave the Young family, cutting ties with them completely. After years of hard work and struggle, I finally achieved financial freedom. Later, I adopted 2 children from an orphanage under my careful nurturing. They became a rising star in the tech industry and a business tycoon worth billions respectively. Watching them succeed, I decided to go crazy once and take an aimless budget trip around the world. Halfway through my journey, Jack Young and our daughter found me. Looking at my weathered appearance from sleeping rough, their faces were full of mockery. Looks like we were right. After leaving the Young family, you can only live like a beggar, barely scraping by, Jack sneered. Now our parents want to see you. We're giving you one last chance to come back with us, he continued. It'll also let you experience the wealthy lifestyle our family enjoys now, you beggar, Lily added with a smirk. Our daughter Lily also looked at me smugly. You left the Young family so decisively back then. I thought you had some special skills up your sleeve. Turns out you've just been wandering around homeless all this time. If I were you, I'd find a block of tofu and smash my head against it. Save everyone the oxygen you're wasting. I paused for a moment, looking at Lily with a complex gaze. I couldn't believe that after all these years, she still hadn't changed her disrespectful ways, but I wasn't angry. Instead, I looked at them calmly. What does this have to do with you? I asked coolly. From the moment they kicked me out of the Young family, I had no connection to them anymore. Your family may be better off now, even comparable to one of Lucas's subsidiaries, I said, but that's your own business. No need to brag about it to me. Seeing that I didn't react the way they wanted, father and daughter were both stunned for a moment. After a while, Jack looked at me with disdain. You've been reduced to wandering the streets, yet you're still so stubborn, he scoffed. If it wasn't for Dad wanting to see you for his 80th birthday, we wouldn't even bother looking at you. But since Dad asked whether you agree or not, you have to come back with us. Jack's tone was full of determination. Just like years ago, I still shook my head. Those are your parents, he insisted. From the moment I left, I no longer had parents, I replied firmly. They may have raised me, but when I left empty-handed years ago, leaving all the assets to them, I had already repaid that debt. Seeing me still so stubborn, Lily's face became even more contemptuous. You've been reduced to wandering the streets. No need to put on an act in front of us, she sneered. Us bringing you back is a blessing for you, understand? But just because you're coming back doesn't mean you can have any ideas about Aunt Emily. We'll never let that happen. Looking at her increasingly twisted expression, my heart sank. She had always been cunning, even as a child, at just 7 or 8 years old, to stay with her aunt forever. She deliberately ran into the middle of the road to lure me over. When a speeding car approached, she suddenly dodged aside. I was so focused on saving her that I was thrown 7 or 8 meters by the impact. While I was seriously injured in the hospital, she even slandered me, saying I was trying to take her to commit suicide together just so Emily could smoothly enter the Young family. Later, when I told Jack about this incident, he just scoffed dismissively. She was only 8 years old. How could she have such vicious thoughts? He had said. I think you're the truly vicious one, framing your own daughter for your own benefit. What he said wasn't wrong. If I hadn't experienced it myself, I wouldn't have believed an 8-year-old could have such malicious intentions either, but that was the reality. No matter how unbelievable, the flesh and blood I once cherished more than my own life turned out to be the one who hurt me the deepest. Looking at Lily before me now, I had completely written her off as a stranger in my heart, just as I was lost in thought. Jack and Lily kicked aside the dog that had accompanied me for years. Roughly dragging me into their car, I struggled desperately, wanting to check on my dog's condition, but I was no match for the two of them. Lily even took out a fruit knife from the car and waved it in front of my face. You'd better behave, you ugly freak, otherwise I'll disfigure the other side of your face too, she threatened. Even though I had long decided to cut ties with her, seeing her vicious expression still made my heart ache. After all, I was the mother who had given birth to her and raised her. Yet she treated me like this. I obediently stopped struggling and sat quietly in the car, because I knew Lily wasn't simply threatening me. If I continued to make a fuss, she would really follow through on her words. After all, in her eyes, her birth mother had long been no different from a beggar on the street. That's better. As long as you obey us, we won't let you wander the streets. We'll keep you in the Young house like a pet. After all, Grandpa still needs you, Lily said. You probably don't understand our family's wealth now. She raised the Cartier watch on her wrist, waving it in front of me to show off. Aunt Emily gave me this watch. It cost over $70,000. You could never afford it in your lifetime. As a pauper, you need to know your place. Don't put on airs in front of us. It won't do you any good. Even though I was Lily's birth mother, it didn't stop her from lecturing me with the air of an elder. Listening to her words, I started trembling with anger. I really didn't know what kind of environment the Young family had raised such a failure like Lily in, to make her so utterly disrespectful. Arriving at the Young family's gate, I immediately sent a message to my 2 adopted sons, asking them to come pick me up from the Young house right away. I didn't want to stay in this place for another second. Just as I sent the message, a familiar figure walked out of the house. Sister, it's been so many years. How did you end up in such a sorry state? Emily said. Mockingly, you're bringing shame to our whole Reed family. Emily's eyes were still full of disdain for me, just like before. She even unconsciously raised her chin slightly as she spoke. She seemed to have forgotten that she only got everything she had now because of my generosity. Emily, let me go. Let yourself go too, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. She had always been strong-willed since childhood, always trying to compete with me on everything. For her sake, I had already given up too much. My education, my family, even half my life I had given to her, but she didn't seem to appreciate my good intentions at all. She was still as arrogant as before. Emily looked at me mockingly. Let you go? Do you even deserve to say such things now? Know your place. You're no different from a beggar now. From now on, as long as you behave like a good dog in our Young family, you can still enjoy some of the family's glory and wealth. As she spoke, Emily clapped her hands lightly, calling a servant to bring in exquisite gift box and place it in front of me. This is the birthday gift I prepared for Dad. It cost over $300,000. I'll let you see it today to broaden your horizons. Emily took out a jade pendant from the box and held it out in front of me. Just as I was about to reach for it, she suddenly slapped me hard across the face. Something like this is just for you to look at. Is it something someone of your status can touch? You may not mind the dirt, but I'm afraid Dad will. I was stunned by her sudden slap. Frozen in place, after a long while I finally held back my tears and looked at her. If you didn't want me to touch it, why did you hold it out in front of me? Emily chuckled. I just wanted to humiliate you properly. Is that not allowed? My heart sank as I realized she was simply trying to humiliate me. Jack, who had been watching all this, showed no signs of wanting to intervene. There was even a hint of amusement in his eyes. I seemed to have gotten used to such scenes many years ago. In their eyes, Emily was not only beautiful but also cultured. She could do no wrong. No matter what she did, they would unconditionally shield her, and I would always be the one to swallow my anger and grievances. Most of the time I didn't even have the right to argue with her. Just then, the roar of car engines sounded outside. My parents also arrived at the young house, led by Jack's driver. Emily and Jack immediately walked over excitedly to help my parents out of the car. Dad, Mom, they called out warmly when they walked up to me. I softly moved my lips and called out to them too, but they just glanced at me coldly before walking into the house with Emily and Jack. It seemed they were too ashamed to even speak a word to their daughter. I stood there watching their receding figures enter the house, feeling as if my whole being was being torn apart in pain. Grandpa and Grandma are calling you inside. Lily finally came out and said to me in an unfriendly tone. I nodded and followed behind Lily into the house, my face pale. Olivia, after all these years, you still can't let go of what happened? My father immediately questioned me sternly as soon as I walked into the living room. I shook my head, looking at him uncomprehendingly. Do you think this is something easy to let go of? I asked. Back then, Emily not only took over my family but also guided young Lily to push me into the abyss, yet they didn't see any fault with Emily. Instead, they all pointed their fingers at me. How could I possibly let it go so easily? My mother snorted coldly as she looked at me. Even if Emily hadn't married Jack, do you think you'd still be worthy of him? A WOM.